All right,
Awesome.
Operators Spotlight Edition 5 or 6. Today we have Tamiko from Iris Automation, and we're going to be talking quite a bit about the future of DAA, DAA in the past and where it's going and everything that Iris is doing to solve that problem. So without further ado, Tamiko, if you can, just give us a little bit background on yourself, a little bit of background on what your role at Iris is and sort of how that's evolved over your time with them.
Yeah, so thanks for having me, Kyle, on this short little spotlight on DAA and on Iris. So I lead strategic partnerships at Iris Automation. I'm mainly working with drone manufacturers, both across North America, also internationally, overseas, and then also kind of look at bigger commercial accounts and government projects. I'm really introducing our technology from pilot programs or POCs and proof of concept stages down to scaling up and what that looks like for commercial ops. So that's a bit about me. I've been at Iris almost 2 years now. The company itself has been running for about 5 years with the sole vision and focus of onboard detect and avoid computer vision collision avoidance. I know it's a little bit of a mouthful, but I guess in the industry, our two co-founders, Alex and James, really saw the need for lower cost, size, weight, and power solution to go on board drones itself. There's legacy technology like radar, a bit of LiDAR, some acoustics in the field, but they really wanted to try and utilize computer vision to put this on aircraft and really enable beyond visual line of sight flights. And that unlocking that space, we needed something that could go further with the drone and also perform these avoidance maneuvers autonomously, because the future is really more autonomous navigation in the airspace, but safely and vetted with our fellow partners out there, both aviation authorities and manufacturers. Yeah.
All right. Well, I know that a lot of people probably heard about Iris for the first time from that University of Alaska Fairbanks pipeline inspection. Talk to me a little bit about, at a high level, what went into that, what was done, and then sort of what was accomplished that day.
Yeah, so that project was part of the Alaska Integration Pilot Program. The IPP is a White House-backed program. I believe there are numerous test sites across the U.S. that are investigating, operations over people, package delivery. What else is there? Infrastructure inspection. And so Alaska in particular, they had about 8 ground-based radar covering, I think, 1 radar per 3 miles or so. And then we had 1 CASIA unit, one of ours, on board the drone itself. And this was just inspecting the pipeline up there with the Alyeska pipeline. I think the operators there were University of Alaska Fairbanks. They were service operators, and we were using the Skyfront perimeter drone, so a multi-rotor drone going along that route. And that was really exciting because we had those different layers of risk mitigation there. And groundbreaking because it was BVLOS flights in the US. So really just trying to push forward step by step.
Yep. So that was with the CASIA long range. What's the field of view on the CASIA long range? I know it's not. I know you guys are coming out with a 360, and I'll ask you about that in a couple minutes. But
yeah,
we're the customer. We're a customer of Iris for the CASIA long range equipment, and we've been integrating that and doing some of our own testing. Luckily, we're lucky enough to be co-located next to an airport, so you're actually able to do some testing without it even integrated into the drone, just pointing it out the window. And just playing around with it in that regard.
Yep.
But talk to me about the differences between, obviously, the ASTM standard of 360-degree awareness is something a problem that, as a VTOL fixed wing OEM, we're trying to unlock BVLOS for customers just like you are. We're completely on the same page in that regard. Just we're complements to each other. in that space. So 360 is where we need to go. Kind of where is 360 now? Whatever you can share, where is 360 now, and when can people expect that?
Yeah, I'll answer. So in Alaska, that integration pilot program, we used actually the Casio standard system.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a 1.6 megapixel camera. Since that time, we've released Casio long range. So that was more field of view. That field of view, I believe, is looking at our sheets now, horizontal 80 degrees field of view, and vertical is 50 degrees field of view. And then, like you said, we've now launched our Casio 360 product, which is essentially Casio long range. So long range is one front-facing camera and one module, and then 360 is actually 5 cameras in total and 2 modules. Basically 3 cameras and 1 module, and then 2 and then the 1. Like you said, our team's been really heavily involved in understanding what the new standards are coming up, the ASTM standards. And so focusing on meeting compliance, we developed the multi-camera solution, as well as combine that with industry feedback on where we were seeing the future that was going. And so that will be released, I believe, mid-June to July in terms of physically shipping out orders. Right now, our team has been using it just internally and working with partners like Sensi's to get it ready for getting out into the market and commercializing.
Right. Well, and one of the things we've been extremely grateful for is the you guys' continued support in helping draft documentation and providing test data. That's been, obviously, the FAA wants to see test data on anything that's a part of your safety case, rather than just taking your word for it, rightfully so. So we continue to appreciate the support that IRIS has given us in regards to providing the data that makes a strong safety case able to pass. So I know that for all the customers we're working with to enable BVLOS for a variety of applications on a day-to-day basis, not just under emergency COA, we continue to lean on partners like IRIS to help us along the way. So for those that are interested, are they, if I'm a customer and I'm a different OEM, let's say I'm an OEM of an American-made multi-rotor with all the lockdowns on Chinese equipment being flown. I'm an American-made multi-rotor company looking at enabling BVLOS for my customers. I reach out to IRIS. What are some of the first steps in that conversation?
Yeah, so really understanding the limitations of the platform itself, if they can carry the size, weight, and power of our hardware on board, understanding which flavor of, I guess, Casio they're wanting to deploy, and what their end users are looking for. And so if you're looking really to get a BVLOS waiver and approval in the US, then most likely Casio 360 is one that we would recommend on board the aircraft. If we're looking at, a payload constraint in something lighter, then probably the long range system, coupled with other layers of risk mitigation, not just having Casio on board as the sole, piece of the puzzle. But again, I'm not the regulatory specialist, so it's a good time to say that we actually have a dedicated team that commits their time, like aviation policy specialists and airspace, focused individuals who are constantly liaising with the FAA. And we actually have a team in DC that will do that work, and also in Reno and San Francisco, we work together to package up the data that's needed for the safety cases, and then use that alongside our own internal experience and operational hours. So that's how, if an OEM came to us, what I would offer is both the technology component and then the regulatory support and expertise from our team.
Okay. So are there any names of folks that people should be reaching out to? I know you can't bog down certain people on your team that But who at Iris can somebody reach out to? You don't have to drop a name. You don't have to drop a cell phone number, or an email
Sure.
address. But who attach a name to Iris of somebody that I can reach out to as an American-made multi-rotor OEM.
Oh, well, one would be my name.
Right. Okay.
It's Tamiko here. But if you're wanting more of the regulatory space, then our VP of like global regulation, Gabrielle Wayne, is really wonderful. She has experience overseas and in North America. So she would be a point of contact. Another great person on her team, actually two more, Sean and Trevor. They've been, I believe, a part of our Ask Me Anything sessions that we've hosted at Iris. So Director of Aerospace Integration is Trevor, and Director of Government Affairs is Sean. And so easy to find on LinkedIn. I know Sean is very active on social media, so pinging him is quite easy. He'll probably reach out. But yeah, our team has so many specialists. It's just really understanding what everyone's kind of looking for, and I can point in the right direction.
Gotcha.
Initial conversation.
I know that we can testify to the communication that Iris has amongst their teams, because we are constantly pulling on them, different sectors within Iris, and the communication between all you guys' different business units has truly been refreshing. So again, we appreciate you guys in that regard. So go ahead, and if you can, for some of the folks listening, rattle off a couple of your industry partners, besides us, and tell me a little bit about the reasoning behind and sort of where you see some of those going.
Yeah, I guess in the last few weeks, a lot have kind of come on board and formalized our partnerships together. So we've been, actually a lot are coming our way for formal press releases. On our site now, we're highlighting ZM Interactive. They're actually off Treasure Island in San Francisco. They operate near us. So they're a great multi-rotor company we've worked with, heavy lift drones. Saxon as well. They're more in the military space. They've been exciting partners through another end user that we're working with, or service provider. Trying to think here. I guess in terms of the IPPs, we've worked with a lot of partners through there. So in Kansas, there was the Kansas Department of Transportation, Kansas State University, and Westar Evergy. That was actually who we did the power line transmission, true BVLOS operations for. So there's no ground-based radar there. That was super exciting. We actually have partners in the UK. So as part of a pilot program there, their sandbox program, there's actually a bunch of players. So Skyports is a service provider there that's flying the Wingcopter drone for some hospital drone deliveries going on. And the analytics tools we're using are Horizon by Thales, and Thales itself has piece of the puzzle there. Yeah, it's been super exciting, as well as
that's quite a long list.
Interact with UTMs as well, big UTM partners, like AirMap and Unifly. But yeah, you can find, I guess, the logos and partners on our website under, I think, the drones tab, but it also lists kind of all the other integrations we've done and are underway.
Gotcha. Okay, so yeah. I want to see it for myself. Where can I go and watch a live demo of the equipment and the actual detect and avoid? What events are you guys going to be at? I know that everything is kind of up in the air in regards to when events are going to happen, but I know, for example, the Energy Drone and Robotics Summit is set for November 10th, I believe. So they do have a new date for that. So I would assume that stuff that you guys had on your calendar that got canceled has been rescheduled, maybe some of them. So where can I come see a live demonstration? What events are you guys going to be at? Those kinds of things.
Yeah, I guess in terms of because there's still COVID restrictions on travel. I'd say our YouTube channel is the best for videos, just for quick access. So if you just type in Iris Automation on YouTube, there's a bunch of different simulation videos and real world footage that we've taken of encounters of us having manned aircraft in the sky and a drone in safe separation. So we show that. In terms of conferences, we are hoping to attend AUVSI in October. That will be the next big one. I think that's in Texas. We've been doing AMAs and hoping to do kind of maybe another live demo. And we typically invite people to Reno, Nevada, our testing flight ops location, to see our maneuvers and the whole show there. So I guess watch out for any events. We were supposed to have one right before COVID, but hopefully we can just recreate it for maybe this summer. And conferences, yep, Commercial UAV Expo, keeping an eye on that. I know we participate in some of their events.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if anybody wants to reach out to Tamiko after the fact, I'm sure that whenever we post this, we'll have her email address and some of her contact info as well. So Tamiko, I appreciate it. Thank you. And if anybody has any questions for her, feel free. Like I said, the contact info will be posted in the link or description once this thing is live. So thanks again, Tamiko.
Cool. Thanks so much, Kyle.